Alrighty. Hello there. I'm Steel Walrus, and you are awesome. And before I get into just like actually playing on the stream, I wanted to talk a little bit about the DX12 update and some things that I've been seeing and some things that I've talked about with my friends on, you know, that's, I really should never do intros live. It just doesn't work. I'm gonna put my face real big here so you could see all this. Isn't it great? Isn't it just so lovely? Why is there we go. I wanna get just some fun background music going on. I don't know if I've got anybody hanging out on maybe Alderon or something. But anywho, before we get into our actual honest to God, like the hell? Anyway, put the glasses down, put the mouse down. Let's talk about the DX12 update and the things that I've seen other people say that they want and some things that I'd like to see. I've been working on a video, or working on the sort of ideas for a video on a good old Mark 1 piece of paper. Um, I highly recommend using paper if you want to get into doing anything that comes out creatively. Even music, I think it's good to sort of notate your beats and stuff on paper. Total side note there. And that's why I'm talking this through live. I want to talk this through live because A, I'd love to get some feedback, hear what you guys think. I also want to get my multi-stream dashboard home thing rolling. Yeah, get multi-chat going so I can talk to both sides. And anywho, I've got some ideas written down. I've also gotten some comments, seen some things on Reddit. Of course, my cousin and I, anytime we talk about Star Wars: The Old Republic, what we'd change, what we'd do different, that always comes up. So I wanted to kind of dive into that this go around. My suggestions that I've got kind of three loose categories. Is really two categories in a miscellaneous section. Of course, the first big category and probably the most the most attainable category is going to be quality of life changes. Um, got stuff like maybe faster transportation, like the mounts and things like that, as well as some stuff like rebalancing mobs and whatnot to make it to where they're not spongy. Hmm. I don't know why specifically this part of my face wants to itch today, but it does. Um, okay, so yeah, spongy mobs, sad. Um, in Knights of the Old, not Knights of the Old Republic, in Knights of the Eternal Throne, Knights of the Fallen Empire, um, I hate fighting the Sky Troopers. They're not fun. They like not even at first when you're like, oh gosh, it's this. I get that they're like supposed to be really good. The thing is, they're not a threat. They're not even a threat if you don't have heals going. Uh, to a properly managed character and a properly geared and leveled and all that stuff character, Sky Troopers don't really touch you unless there's a half dozen of them or more. The problem is that they are extremely spongy. And if it were one every once in a while that was just really tough, kind of like strong enemies, right? Wouldn't be as big of a problem. And if they were actually challenging enemies, wouldn't be as big of a problem. Um, anyway, I get a little bit more into that here in a minute. The next thing I wanted to really go into was, or I guess, so the next category there would be story stuff. This one is kind of a miscellaneous category, so things like maybe rejiggering how the factions work a little bit, because frankly, I don't feel like they matter anymore. Roaming PvP isn't really a thing, as far as I could tell. I haven't experienced any in a decade. Um, and as far as the flashpoints are concerned, I'm pretty sure they've been turned into, at least the later ones have been faction agnostic. So why, let's not be so locked into this Empire versus Republic thing. Maybe bring in a third, which is going to bring and kind of support my final, even more pie in the sky than adding another faction, and that is the potential of adding slash maybe reworking some classes like a Terrace Kasi Master. People really seem to want a non-force using melee class, myself included. I like Star Wars Galaxies. I like going Terrace Kasi Master on there because it's cool. And yeah, and I've also, this is my cousin's big one, and I think it would be pretty cool, is like a Beastmaster or Droid manager, like handler type character. So uses like pets and stuff because there's lots of cool critters you can domesticate and lots of neat droids you can get into in Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I think, and heck, droids have always been a huge part of Star Wars: The Old Republic. So things that are not exactly companions, like T3 or any other like droid companions that you get, um, but that are just like you can kind of summon them or something like that. I don't know. Well, I want to also do videos drilling into like how I would specifically do those stories. Maybe even do kind of a sketch out of those. But let's get into my actual Star Wars: The Old Republic changes that I'd like. And trust me, this is probably more legible to y'all than it is to me. Uh, so, and you never notice how bad you really need to just. Anyway, um, so right now they're just sort of scribbled down in the order I thought of them. But the changes I'd like to see, first off, will be at least one new class story. So either a beast handler or a droid handler, something that focuses, probably would be a very support heavy class for the most part. Probably something that's like, would kind of be like, if you got into its specs, would be like, this, one spec would be like a support or healing type thing. One would be a tank, and then maybe one would be like a tank DPS hybrid. Uh, Sort of, like I said, support, very support heavy. One thing I would love to see, games like EVE Online have it, and several others, is a recolorable or maybe like themed UIs. So instead of the standard, which is very nice, right? That sort of bronze, gold, and blue situation that Star Wars: The Old Republic has going on. I'd like to see something. I'd like to see the ability have a Sith theme and a Republic theme and a Hutt theme, and then maybe you could unlock or buy more themes on the cartel, or you could unlock the ability to create your own custom themes out of a sort of selection of parts, the same way you do a character. I think that would be really cool. Um, EVE Online, I think, gives you the faction themes, which is really neat. Uh, so, yeah, Broadsword. That one I feel is not only easily monetized for Broadsword, which I think makes it not only attainable but beneficial to both sides of the coin. I do think it is fairly readily available thing to do. I mean, we can already change loading screens and stuff. If you didn't know that, you can do that. People do it. You can go on Reddit and people do it, talk about how they did it all the time. And there's some really cool loading screens. So that's the second one. I really, really, and I'm going to hit this one again because I already talked about it a little bit, is rebalancing the Kotet and Kotfi mobs, especially the Sky Troopers. The Sky Troopers just suck to fight. They're not a fun enemy. They're not even really a challenging enemy. And quite frankly, it makes me loath to go through Knights of the Fallen Empire and Knights of the Eternal Throne. I have some other issues with those storylines, quite honestly, but I don't want to go into that because I don't this is stuff that I think is doable without completely revamping every aspect of the game. Right. So going through and retouching Knights of the Fallen Empire, Knights of the Eternal Thrones, Sky Troopers would be fantastic. They're too spongy, and they don't really pack enough of a punch to be a threat, so it's just annoying. Now, I will say part of that is also the way I play. When I play, I sit down and I play all freaking day. So by the time I get to stuff like that, or I'm trying to get through this whole section of a game instead of just doing part of it, it can be really annoying. But that's the thing, is it should accommodate that as much as it should accommodate somebody who plays a mission at a time. Um, so replay. Okay, next, replayable class story chapters. I have heard several people ask about these, and talk about these. Talking with my buddies, um, I think you used to be able to. You can do it with flashpoints and operations and stuff like that. But I think it'd be really, really handy if we could do that with their class stories and with other things in the storyline. I'd love to go back and relive, say, Dougal Roarn's, one of my characters, story, and go through all of that. It doesn't have to affect the canon that is already sort of in my character. If Broadsword doesn't want to deal with that, that's fine. Um, or you could allow me to sort of select what I consider canon in those instances. When I go back to when I go back through Knights of the Fallen Empire or Eternal Throne, should I even choose to do so, um, that could be a thing. Personally, I think this is great. I think it would be a real easy, probably just a UI and a little bit of Boolean logic. I don't know though. I'm not a game dev, but I play one on TV. I'm not a game dev. I don't know, but it seems like something that should be fairly easy. A lot of games have it. Games like Star Trek Online has it, and it's really great there. So at least I'm pretty sure Star Trek Online has it. Used to, at the very least. Of course, they also used to have their own mission maker, and that was really cool. But that's a whole other rant. Um, yeah, so I'd love to be able to go through the old stories and relive Korriban and other places that I really enjoy, without just doing dailies or rolling. Like my options right now are just doing dailies or rolling an entirely new character and going through the whole story again. And that can be really fun sometimes, but after the 18th time going to Balmora, you you've been sick of going to Balmora about 16 times ago. So maybe just let me do the thing. All right. Here's one honorable mention. I talked about faster speeders a little bit. I think it would be kind of nice to be able to go closer to the speed of the taxis and stuff like that. You're still not going in a straight line, so sometimes taking a taxi is still better. So that money sink is still there. If you wanted to lock it behind progression, you can. If you wanted to lock it behind, I wouldn't lock it behind cartel stuff because people get real weird when actual gameplay stuff. But you could do like cartel or credits to get that unlocked. Like a legacy unlock would be neat. I did think a little bit about asking for it to be harder or maybe even impossible to get like force dismantled. You know how if you're riding through mobs and they pew pew and you go, oh no, and you get knocked off your bike, right? That can be really annoying. And I thought about saying, well, we should get rid of that. The problem is, it would be really easy for people to abuse that and not go through the game it was meant to be played. Right? Like, sure, it would be a good time saver for those of us who have done this 1,000 times, but at the same time, you you miss out on some of the progression. You miss out on some points of interest that aren't really marked, right? Crafting materials and things of that nature. It's worth still having that in there. Again, you know, I think it's important that it's in there. It's annoying, but I think it adds enough challenge to worth be worth keeping. Let's see, and not finally, let's let the huts be their own thing. This is probably one of the more controversial, I'd say, in terms of practicality, because breaking off into a third faction would probably result in some rewrites here and there. It would almost certainly require a retooling of how the factions friend or foe stuff works as far as the logic and the AI is concerned, right? Because when the game was originally made, there was things like roaming PvP, and in planets that had both factions on at the same time, side A could go to side B and cause a lot of trouble. And so what they did to make that challenging and to make it very difficult, basically impossible for say the Sith to go and raid the spawn on the Republic side or vice versa, what they did was they sat down and they said, okay, the Sith AI, the Sith NPCs get stronger as you get closer to where the players are actually supposed to do things, right? You can't just grief people out of quests by PvPing. And I'm pretty sure that's just how it works. The AI for the enemies you face in missions as a Republic character are the same, generally speaking, AI as the guys that I, as an Imperial character, am going to see if I go to a little outpost or something on Tatooine or Alderaan or something like that. Basically, it's not like you have quest NPCs and then set dressing slash factional NPCs. I think those NPCs are they're all locked to their faction and there's nothing really weird going on there. So if you made, let's say, the bounty hunter and the smuggler into Hut faction characters or like a non-aligned faction character, then there's a possibility that things could get really complicated with them going into Republic and Imperial territory if those factions are considered hostile to one another, which logically I figured they'd be. Though, for the flip side of that, you could sort of just set the Huts as neutral or friendly to everybody because that's canonically kind of how the Huts operated. They're not actually engaged in open hostility with either faction. Um, so that's an option. I think that would be a good way to, like I said, just add some more variety and add the foundation for more classes and more stories and stuff like that. You wouldn't have to take the bounty hunter off of the core off of Nalhutta. You wouldn't have to take the smuggler off of whatever awful the whole what is that Ord Mantell. You just leave them there and let them progress through their story like they normally do. Maybe they have a secret cool hut station they can go to or something, or they just like they're just in their own kind of faction. So far it's kind of meaningless to do that, but where it could get meaningful is if you add stuff like I was talking earlier, like your droid master or your droid handler, beast master type class, or your Terrace Kasi master, which is another thing I want to talk about. Another class I had an idea for. Um, and I think it could add some opportunities or rebalance some other things. Someone more imaginative than myself could probably come up with some cool ideas to make that a faction. I mean, we've already had stuff like the Rise of the Hutt Cartel and whatnot that sort of bring the Hutts more into relevance. Let's keep playing on that. Or you could well, Eternal Empire wouldn't really work. Okay, and finally, I think I talked about this a little bit, but this is another part of the reason I like the idea of a neutral or third faction. Is a non-force melee class would be really neat. A lot of people ask for that. again, I think I've talked about that. But I'm curious if there's anybody else out there watching, what you think, what you would say. I am personally really big on these changes. I think there are some other changes. I do see some issues with them, but I want to drill more into those in videos where I actually talk about those specific things. Anywho, so for this section, I've been Steel Walrus, you've been awesome, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Otherwise, I'm going to drink some water and get my Star Wars character out. We're gonna play a little while, and then I'll probably go play Windrose for a minute. Let's see, probably do this, and I should make sure that I am on the right thing. Alrighty. Ah, what? That's fine. Can I put her on Star Force? Maybe. Oh, yeah. There's an idea. Let me find different, like, give me a sort here. Give me a way to sort my characters. Sort by like class, storyline. Oh, nope, that's not her. There she is. Alright, we got some galactic seasons going on here. Got our login rewards. Interesting. Okay, fun. I'm gonna the P general mounts, obviously. Too bad I can't use them in here. That would be amazing. I've got to speak to General Garza, which I assume involves...
Welcome back, Master. Your vessel is in flawless condition naturally.
Okay, so I guess we finished the second sort of, well, the first act. I mean, the first bit's sort of the prelude, right? Before you get your ship. So I guess we finished the first act, which was Nar Shaddaa rather, Nar Shaddaa and Alderaan. Like that. Which means that we will probably be going to Balmorra and... Oh, we have also been to Tatooine. Balmorra and Voss? Question mark? Or Hoth. And Balmorra, Voss, Hoth, and Corellia. Amazing. I love whatever this thing is. You got a beak. And whatever that is. And then whatever. You got a Thagomizer. That's dope. I respect it. You should too. What the hell? Goofy little feats. I'm a fan of goofy little feats, though. I like Hyrax. They got goofy little feet. And I think about Hyrax as way too for like a normal human being. I'm not a normal human being, so I guess it tracks. Yeah, speeder trainer. we're even faster on our little feetsies. Amazing. Basically destroying my chances of being an affiliate on this. That's okay. Like, I play Windrose, I get like 18 people watching me. I play this, and maybe I have one. Is what it is. Points having fun. Oh yeah, I need to hit record.
Welcome, Lieutenant. Stand at ease. Make yourself comfortable. We have a great deal to discuss. Before we begin, I want to congratulate you on everything you've achieved thus far. You've completed missions and defeated enemies that few other soldiers could ever contend with.
Promotion time.
I'm glad I could make a difference.
You've certainly done that, and you aren't even finished. The time has come to end this. To deal with your former squad mate's treachery once and for all. We've made a critical breakthrough in the search for Tavis. A decisive opportunity has presented itself. Are you ready to end this, Lieutenant?
I'm always ready.
Good. We've intercepted a signal, broadcast to Taris, Nar Shaddaa, Tatooine,
really
and
like this
Alderaan.
armor.
The signal contained a message from Tavis, calling for all of his surviving followers to pull out and rendezvous in Imperial space.
Not the pull-out method.
Another hidden rendezvous in the middle of nowhere? We're falling for this again?
You can proceed as cautiously as you like, Lieutenant, but we are going to act on this intelligence.
As long as you proceed.
I suspect the Empire is losing its patience with Tavis. Every operation the Havoc traders were involved in has now been completely obliterated. Your missions have been very costly for the Empire. I think Tavis is trying to regroup before the Imperials cut him off completely.
If Tavis is pulling back, this would be a good time to make a move.
Exactly what I was thinking, Lieutenant. I want you to infiltrate Tavis's rendezvous. You'll proceed to the coordinates in the message and slip in amongst the surviving traders to board his vessel.
What's the plan once I'm aboard, sir?
Once on board, your first objective will be disabling the ship's hyperdrive. Next comes your ultimate objective, Tavis. Locate and neutralize him with extreme prejudice, Lieutenant.
Tavis won't escape us this time, General.
You don't need me to tell you the kind of odds you'll be facing out there. This is no ordinary mission. This is a Havoc mission. A mission no other unit could ever accomplish. Is Havoc Squad prepared to do what no one else can, Lieutenant?
Consider it done.
Here, get yourself and your people the best loadouts you can. Then head for the rendezvous coordinates. I'm counting on you, Lieutenant. The Republic is counting on you. So get out there and do us proud. Dismissed.
Alright. Now, I gotta rejigger some things real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, we're gonna get Tavis. We are going to travel through the... We can just hit the... We can hit the go button. That's a really nice quality of life thing. I like that. Maybe not super immersive. I can just be like, I'm going.
Good day, Lieutenant. Welcome aboard the Justice. Need to run a few questions by you before you head on into the crew area.
Go right ahead, Lieutenant.
Which planet were you posted on, Lieutenant? Who did you serve with?
Oh, I see.
I was stationed on some rock called Tatooine, with Fuse.
Fuse, huh? Some other guys from Tatooine were telling me he cracked out there. That he suddenly just refused to continue his work.
Fuse totally lost it. Even locked himself in a closet.
Wow. Guess it's never the ones you expect, huh? I mean, he was in Havoc Squad. You'd think he could keep it together. So what about this other rumor I keep hearing? That a single Republic soldier came in and broke up the entire operation. Is that really true?
I never thought one soldier could do so much damage.
Me neither. Guess we'd all better stay on our toes, huh? Hey, I won't hold you up any longer, Lieutenant. Go on and head for the crew area. I bet you could use some rest after what you've been through. See you around.
Alright. Yeah, I'ma just sneak in. 'Cause it'll be funny. Because they're just like, oh, hey, it's that person. She's cool. Okay, we gotta cause problems. It's funny, I recognize this interior from, oh.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Wraith.
I was hoping we'd bump into each other.
Me too. You're caught. You failed.
I'm really used to seeing Miriellen as Jedi, so it's kind of cool seeing a non-Force user.
This battle isn't won yet.
Wrong. Time to die.
Incoming!
Oh, ow. I just like using it. Amazing. Alright. Huzzah! Now we gotta go find Tavis. Ah, but we are accosted by the enemy. Be ashamed if I just deleted them. See, I feel like this is how fighting mobs should feel. We're talking about changes I would make for like Knights of the Eternal Throne, Fallen Empire, all that good stuff. Oh no, where really? I think. Now I do like this that they kind of respond. It's more dynamic. That's cool. But and that will always be a sort of a little tweak of mine is maybe, hear me out, have the enemy respond to the player and not just sit there waiting to be slaughtered. That's a little advanced for an MMO of this age, and well, quite frankly, it's also a little it could get overwhelming for the player if it's not handled correctly. But
You are fit for duty. Return to your post.
Not an insignificant, but it would feel a little bit better if they did it right. But I don't think that's a thing that's Star Wars: The Old Republic. Like, not necessarily anyway. Ah. Weird that I'm not getting this bear mission. Too late. Like, no. You don't get to use that ability, I'm sorry. Missed the second guy, that's my bad. Pulp. And pew. Good. Alright, I do like fighting on the Imperial ships. They have a really nice layout. And they still feel like ISDs. Without being, like, obviously an ISD. Right, like, that would be kind of a problem if it was like, oh yeah, this is 3,000 years BBY, but it's the exact same layout. Now this is a truly gargantuan bridge for a ship like this, but... But what do I know? I've never
Lieutenant,
designed a
it seems that no
spaceship
matter how
before.
hard I try, I can't have any kind of gathering without you. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. You were a member of Havoc, just
Coming
like the
for
rest
your
of us.
mustache, bro.
I suppose you belong here in some twisted way.
You need to give up and give me that stash. I think it'd look good on my character, actually.
It's over, Tavis. Surrender.
We'll have to
I
go
think
to
we're
the space
past that,
dock.
Lieutenant, don't you? You should be thanking me, really. I imagine that killing all my comrades, my closest
I'm gonna
friends,
do that.
has been good for your
100% gonna
career.
do that.
Your people gave me no choice.
You always have a choice, Lieutenant. You just never make the right one. In the end, I'm glad you've come. I'm glad you intercepted the signal,
Disagree.
and glad you butchered the last of my loyal soldiers. I'm glad you're here, Lieutenant. I'm glad I get to kill you myself.
Yeah, I've got a better idea. How about you stop being alive, and I go home and hang out with my pet, whatever the heck that was I unlocked a minute ago. Sounds good.
That's not gonna happen.
It's time, Lieutenant. Let's finish this.
I'm going to put that mustache on my character.
For the Republic.
Come on, then.
Unusually patriotic for my character, but okay.
Here they come!
Punch him in the face. Oh no, that was a mistake on my part. Man, I hated cryo grenades back in Knights of the Old Republic. Butt stroke him from like 10 miles away, but that works.
This is it, isn't it? This is all I have to show for everything I've done. Everything I tried to achieve.
There's nothing left, Tavis. Just give it up.
What have I done? They're dead. They agreed with me. They followed me. They died because of me.
Hey, leave me some credit. But yes.
Everyone who followed you died for it.
And for what? We accomplished nothing. Nothing. Don't kill me, Lieutenant. I can help you. I've learned things. Intel about the Empire. Bring me in. Take me to Garza. Let me undo some of the damage.
I think having him stand trial would be a good propaganda victory for the Republic. Like, killing him would feel good. And of course, just sparing him would be really good. But I think having him stand trial is...
I'm gonna bring you in alive, and you're gonna be court-martialed.
Trial? What's the point? Traitors are executed. You might as well just shoot me now.
You want to die now? I mean, fine. You know, if he were an embattled old officer who were fighting for his side from the start and was like this, yeah, I'd just shoot him in the face right here. Let him die on the battlefield. But he's a traitor. And traitors need to face consequences.
You have to face the consequences of your actions.
No. It's better to die here. To die on my feet, to die fighting. This ends here, Lieutenant. This ends now.
Okay. A shame. Oh, okay. Cool that I can get the Kubas as a companion right off the rip.
Negative on hostiles.
It's all clear, General.
At ease, Lieutenant. You've done a truly remarkable job. Congratulations.
Are you here to reward me now?
Aaron Tavis has been neutralized, General.
There he is.
Aaron
Got like
Tavis
3
did.
holes in him.
I honestly had to come just to see it for myself. He was one
None
of
of
the
which he
best
started
soldiers
with.
to ever serve under my command. It's a very great shame that he chose to end his career this way.
Tavis betrayed the Republic. He got what he deserved.
Yes. Yes, I'd say he did. I congratulated you earlier, Lieutenant, but I
She's
think it
standing
bears
there by me like,
repeating. You've accomplished
"Reason?"
something remarkable today. Tavis and his followers knew every aspect of our organization. They could have torn the Republic military apart piece by piece, but they never got the chance. Thanks to you.
I couldn't have done it without Sergeant Dorn's help.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant. It's an honor to serve in Havoc Squad.
We'll be staying to search the ship for intelligence while the hyperdrive is reactivated, but there's no need for you to remain as well. I'd say you've earned some leave, Lieutenant. Take
What's
some
up?
time off, then return to my office on Coruscant when you're ready to discuss a new assignment for Havoc Squad.
Sounds like a
It'll be
plan.
nice to finally relax a bit.
Yes, I imagine it will. Now, go out and enjoy yourself a bit, Lieutenant. And congratulations yet again on completing one of the most difficult assignments in Spec Force's history.
You're too kind, General.
If I am, you're the first person to think so. Enjoy yourself, Lieutenant. Dismissed.
Alrighty. Let's open up our little box of stuff. Oh, whole bunch of stuffs. Very cool. Very good. Alright, when you're ready, okay. Cool, so I'm gonna go back to my ship. Just get that rolling. But I think we're gonna call it here. I talked about what I wanted to talk about. Kind of helped me flesh out some more ideas. When I come back, if I come back today, which I may not because I have some things to work on, I think I want to play Windrose. Because I got really into it and then took a break, and I don't want to lose that. Also, people seem to really like watching me play it. That's kind of why I'm here. So, which, by the way, if you are interested in what I think about the game, I will be soon, probably, hopefully, putting out a sort of first, like, initial impressions of the game. And hopefully you guys will respond well to that. And I guess here is our ship's airlock. You know, I'm surprised none of the, like, crew that we walked past had, like, seen us and been like, oh no, man. Seems like not the kind of person we want to let on the ship. Anywho, I've been Steel Walrus. You've been awesome. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.